Hello, friends, fans, and dairy products of all ages. This is Cheese of Ages here, with my first Smite content in a long time. Now, I don't really actively play as much as I used to, because my friends don't play the game, and the community tends to be toxic as fuck a lot of the time. So to be fair, the nice people are the majority as usual, and are nicer a lot of the time. But there's still I run into a lot more toxic people in Smite that are much more severely toxic. It's a very extreme community. The friendly players are friendlier, and the toxic players are more toxic. And also, Hi-Rez doesn't know shit about proper design. I mean, this isn't the main subject of this video, but they released a squirrel god named Ratatoskr, a Norse messenger god. And everybody was expecting Teemo, and early design concepts were a rip-off of Teemo, essentially, because you could plant acorns and they would explode, but that went off the drawing board really quickly. Everyone was expecting Teemo. When he was released, he was a rip-off of Talon from League of Legends. Almost every single move was a rip-off of Talon from League of Legends. He's got a thing where he shoots out a shotgun blast of acorns. They don't come back like Talon's rake, but it's exactly the same angle and size of Talon's rake. He has a move that shoots acorns in all directions, which then return after a couple of seconds, and the best way to use it is to release it and then go to the other side of the enemy so all the acorns will pass through them again. Boom, acorn hits them, go behind them, acorn collapses to your location, passing through them, functioning exactly like Talon's ultimate. The only difference between the Ratatoskr's kit and Talon's is that Nova of Acorns is not an ultimate. It's a regular ability with a rather low cooldown, actually. And Ratatoskr's Gap Closer is like a Renekton's with very low cap on the number of dashes you get, instead of a Blink 2. And his ultimate is instead pretty much Pantheon's, but better in every way. It's like, you know, you can escape, hang up in the air for a bit, hop, hang up in the air for a bit, come down. It's basically Thor's, but better. With, like, I don't think it stuns. I may be wrong. But, yeah. It's every good thing about Talon's kit. A dashing a gap closer, which is different, and then like an ultimate that can pretty much teleport you across the battlefield. You know. Oh, and the Nova of Acorns doesn't render Ratatoskr invisible. But essentially, the playstyle and the major elements of the kit you'll be using most, the shotgun and the Nova of Acorns, and the getting behind them so the acorns will fly through them, are all exact. He plays exactly like Talon. He is pretty much a copy-paste, aside from those two differences. And that's not the main subject of this video, but I've been going on for 4 minutes about it. I just thought I would point that out. Next, they introduce another god named Ravana. It's actually like Raven, with a little bit of a on the end of it. I can't really pronounce it perfectly. And yeah, they did introduce a god that referenced Raven previously and mispronounces the name. And says that pronounces it Ravana instead of Raven. But yeah, again, they release a god that is clearly copying from League of Legends' content. But the design on this guy, on release, he was considered one of the worst gods in the entire game. Like one of the worst releases they've had in a while, since Nox's initial release, at least. Where his kit isn't terrible, but it's just, why pick the guy? He doesn't really do anything well. And it's pretty much Vi from League of Legends in a way, but inferior in every way. With some slight differences. It's like, okay, let's make Vi, but then let's work from Vi's baseline and just like do some things. Let's make a unique thing that is Vi, but is unique from Vi. His passive pretty much doesn't exist. He like builds up stacks which only contribute to the damage of his one, which is a big like cone in front of him. Familiar? But it's short and wider. That it's a blast of bursty damage that has a low cooldown. Familiar? That is meant to like be bursty damage on a target, but is actually really shit designed because it's despite being a cone, you'll usually only be able to hit one god with it. That's not familiar. But yeah. Kind of poop. They have an ability that's different, where you can temporarily become undamageable, and a buff that's coming up will make him CC immune. That's different, I'll admit. And then there's like a line targeted thing that's different, that sends out a damaging line effect that will root the first god that is hit, which I'll admit is also different. But the blatant copy thing is not as intensive a ripoff as Ratatoskr was, but the blatant ripoff move is a gap closer where you target an enemy and you charge to them. Anyone in the way is knocked aside, and you get, instead of damaging those people and doing decent damage to the target, because this ult actually does no damage, you instead get damage mitigation against everybody but your target. So it's Vi's ult if you took every good thing away from it, aside from the knockback, and put Poppy's ult on it. Now, here's an inherent problem here. They make a move which is intended to gap close quickly on a target and get everyone the fuck out of your way, and you're on that guy, you're gonna kill him. But they took everything that would like CC or lock down the dude. They took everything that makes it work that way away, and put the main mechanical benefit of it. They copied from a move that is not intended to be used on the target you're going after. Vi, it's all about, you go to the guy, you burst them down, you just destroy them, and it locks them in a place long enough for you to just destroy them. It's just burst them down. Ravana is only getting that option now that they're buffing his one, and making it where the ultimate stacks his passive up. So he's only now getting the burst down. However, they also tagged on it Poppy's ult as the main benefit of the move, aside from the knocking of the back, to where, and Poppy's ult is something you would put on that guy over there, you would put on like the tank or something, and only the tank can kill you, but the tank does shit damage, and then you tower dive, you just go after that freaking guy with your other maneuvers, that you want to kill that dude over there, and he's the only one that he can't damage you, and that tower he's trying to protect himself with can't damage you. So you put a gap closing move intended to get you next to a target and make it where nobody can get in your way, and you have its biggest mathematical benefit be something you put on something you don't want to go after. This problem is quite obvious. I don't see why they didn't see it when they were in the design phase, and a lot of people are actually using the freaking gap closer that knocks everyone out of the way on the guy that's usually on the front line. So the main flavor of the move, getting to a point and knocking everyone out of the way while you're getting to that point, is almost never used. So I'm sure the intended use of this gap closer that knocks everyone away is to, like, hit nobody that you want to go after. Instead of going after your target, you hit the nearest non-threat to your actual target with it. It's just wobbly as shit design and stupid as fuck. You rip off 2 moves from another game that are supposed to be used on 2 completely different types of target, and then take away the functionality that would make it appealing to use on the target you want them to go after. Seriously, Hi-Rez? Seriously? Anyway, I just found that hilarious enough to mention. Anyway, this will be Cheese of Aegis signing off.